Good day. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the OFFSITE
Insight
Podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Creative Co-op. For all your advertising and design and marketing and any other creative aspect, please reach out to Gino and the team at tcco.ca.
We're joined by Stephanie Lane, Vice President of Sales and Marketing from Geranium. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me today, and I'm looking forward to our discussion.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming here. And we'll, you know what, we might as well dive right into it. It's an interesting market right now. I think both from a buyer and seller perspective. So when we focus in on the buyer, I like to think you probably have a very unique view of the market because you're hearing directly from people who are, you're looking to sell them a product and they're looking to buy. How has that changed in the last year? There's been some new announcements from, different levels of government. There's been consumer confidence changes. How do you think it's changed in the past year?
A lot. To sum it up in one word. I'll just take a step back because you did mention my unique experience, I guess, in so much of what we do. Just talk a little bit about Geranium first and us being a fully integrated, vertically integrated land development and building company. And that's essentially us taking land and acquisition and land assembly through the zoning and approvals process, through servicing engineering to construction, sales and marketing, and post-purchase service. The company has been around for nearly 50 years. It's our 50th anniversary next year. So we've got a lot of history. Thank you. Great legacy of building in Southern Ontario as well in a variety of different home styles and options. And the other thing too that makes us unique is that we offer our management services. So we develop our own lands and build our own lands, but we'll also do that for others. So from a land development management perspective, also construction management perspective, we can be retained for those services, which is great. And a recent acknowledgement of that is our construction management contract with the Ritz-Carlton Residences in Muskoka. So we've recently been retained there for that. So that's an incredible opportunity for us and something we're actively engaging in now and looking forward to. And through all of that, I have the ability also and the privilege of being involved in every step of the way, which from a sales and marketing perspective in my role is fantastic because I have the ability to influence with research and a lot of data to support it, how we build our communities, what we build, and how we shape that project visioning from the start. So I always like to say that because it really sort of sets the stage for what we do as a company and what our philosophy is and how the sales and marketing process impacts every stage of that process. So getting to your question specifically, how have things changed in working with our...
Which buyer am I talking about, I guess, right? I said, which buyer am I talking about? Because there's a lot of this breadth in your business.
Definitely. We'll focus on the home buyer and the sales and marketing side. But that conversation has changed, I would say, in two different areas. And one being just the level of information that prospective buyers have at their fingertips these days. As builders, we know that our buyers are finding us online. If they don't find us online, we're very, we're not part of the conversation if we don't have presence online, most often. So we don't gatekeep a lot of that information anymore like a lot of builders used to. So information is readily available. The more information we put out, in my opinion, is better because prospective buyers are well informed and they're coming through our doors with a lot more information than they ever used to have. Right. So that conversation has changed in that respect, in that we're not talking a lot about the area. We're not even talking a lot about what product or what home styles we're offering.
Sure.
A lot of our prospective buyers are coming in already knowing that information. They've done their research.
Yeah, of course.
And some are coming to the door saying, I like this particular model. Tell me where it fits. Let's talk about pricing and so on. So it's a very, very direct conversation, I find. Yeah. Not as much of that preliminary education.
Right.
Right?
Here's what this option is. Yeah. They've already And I think that applies to many different products, not just homes, but people nowadays are much more informed about what they're potentially purchasing.
Yeah.
So
Agreed. So it's very specific, a lot more specific than it used to be. Don't get me wrong, we still get those people that come in that really don't have any idea of what they're walking into, and those ones come on in and we'll go through the whole spiel top to bottom. And then the other area that it's changed, especially in the past couple of years, is just the market environment right now. Obviously, the macroeconomic conditions creating a lot of uncertainty, a lot of concern. That's a big part of our discussion right now. So it's about home buying, but it's a lot more, it's much broader in terms of how all of that is now impacting the market. And are people confident to make a purchase today? A lot of the people that we find through the doors today, and it's not as robust as it used to be, but they're qualified and they're either doing their research to make a future purchasing decision, or they're coming in with a very specific want that they are able to convert on today. So it's changed in those two fashions, I would say.
So that almost feels like there's almost you're getting individuals who come in two kind of buckets, and it used to be a much broader bucket, whereas now you have buyers that are kind of generally interested, generally well educated. And so now there's still a hesitancy, as you mentioned, there's macroeconomic conditions that aren't specific to Simcoe County or the GTA even. How do you move someone from that interest to confidence that they can do this? That's a challenging thing. That's a lot of psychology, I would imagine.
Most definitely. And that's the biggest thing that our sales teams are navigating with those buyers that are coming in, or prospective buyers. It's not necessarily about the mortgage and the financing, albeit that is a question, or that is an area of support that we can assist with. But it is about, if I buy today, knowing that I'm buying a to-be-built home that could be delivered within 12 to 24 months, typically, what are things going to be like then? And is this going to be a good investment? Is now the right time to purchase? Right. For many of the projects that we work on, we deal with a lot of move-up buyers. Right. We do have a few first-time home buyers in communities that offer that affordability. But the move-up buyer is also reliant on the resale market.
Of course.
Right. And being able to have that confidence that their existing home is going to sell at the end of the day for what they want. Which want in the reality sometimes is a little bit,
there can be a divergence there.
There can be a divergence, right? But also that it's going to be able to sell in the time frame that they need it.
Right.
And in addition to the new home market, the resale market has been equally as impacted by that. So you have buyers coming in, prospective buyers coming in today, that the question is they want to make a purchase. Right. They're also nervous about the resale and how they're going to fund that, whether it's through a resale or even just their investment portfolios. If they have investment portfolios that have changed considerably over the past few years, right? So we're dealing with a lot of today uncertainty still in the marketplace. Rising costs affecting cash flows, portfolios, investment portfolios potentially having changed, and job security concerns too, right? Will we have a job? Will I have a job in the next 6 months, 1 year? What does that look like? And unless I have that confidence, I'm not comfortable making the biggest purchase decision of my life today until I have a bit more confidence and stability and all of the rest.
Yeah. And, I still think we follow the US market, like the Canadian market follows the US market. And I think they just released their Q2 statistics this morning, and their annualized growth is like 1.5%. If you were to extrapolate Q2, that's small. The target is usually 2%. So I can understand there being a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. I think, I feel it as a small business owner. You're seeing it every day in the confidence of buyers or prospective buyers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we we have to walk a fine line when it comes to talking about whether it's a good investment or not. Right. We do feel that today is a good time to purchase if you have the ability and the confidence to do so. There has been price adjustments happening across the board, of course, just in Simcoe region, but the GTA and beyond. So price adjustments have happened. There are a lot of incentives being offered by different builders right now, and there's a lot of options. So those combined create a great environment for someone to purchase if they have the means to and the confidence to do so today.
Absolutely. How do you work toward building somebody's confidence from the standpoint of Geranium?
Good question. It's a process. First and foremost, I think our perspective on how we're navigating those conversations with prospective buyers, again, is very careful. We can't make promises about what stuff will be in the future.
Of course,
We can rely on historical trends and what have you, and with the exception of some minor and significant blips, the historical trend has still been favorable to purchase in real estate. It's a little bit sensitive still right now, coming through the post-COVID adjustment, because we're still in that adjustment, hopefully towards the tail end of it. So that story isn't, and that communication doesn't land the same way as it used to.
Sure.
For us, we're focused on just being here and ready and available when they are, and being those resources, right? We're offering lending programs with financial banks on mortgages. So how are we getting creative on the mortgage side through our lending partnerships to offer people, cap rate mortgage programs, whereby they hold the rate for the duration of the construction period. Those sorts of things are how we're providing confidence. And just, again, being that resource, it's definitely not a high pressure sale these days. And we have to respect that. And we have to respect the fact that people aren't going to make a purchase decision the second they walk through a door. It's multiple visits, building that rapport. And that's where we're focusing our efforts on doing that, to help the confidence, knowing that the confidence needed really is not just within our means to change.
Okay. So what are some of the characteristics of a Geranium home or development that might encourage somebody to purchase from Geranium?
A few things, I would say. One, just the communities we build in general. We place a lot of emphasis on creating fully developed and fully, not that other builders don't, every builder does. But it's a priority of ours to really think through how we envision a project from the get-go. And a lot of that starts with research, market comparable research, a lot of demographic research, psychographic research, to really understand who our prospective buyers will be in any given area. In a project or in an area where we haven't built before, that's obviously much more extensive research being done, and talking to community members, and establishing home styles and amenities that really suit the community and the landscape around it, that fulfill a need within the municipality. If that's if there's a specific need that needs to be fulfilled that we can assist with. And beyond that, then getting into product designs or architectural designs that offer the flexibility and offer different options for a variety of different purchasers. Secondary to that, I would go back to our 50-year legacy and our history of being a very reputable builder, and one that prides itself on construction quality and service and all of that fun stuff. And giving confidence to people, knowing that we're not a fly-by-night builder either. We're not going anywhere. So that confidence that if they sign an agreement with us and they give us their hard-earned deposit monies, that those are not going away.
I mean,
essentially,
you're aiming to be here for the next 50 years, right? So for most
I will be there for the next 50 years personally. But
that's a really important thing, right? As you alluded to a number of times, this is a massive purchase, sometimes the biggest purchase of someone's life, and they want to make sure when they 5 years down the road, Geranium's still going to be there thinking 10 years, 15, 20, 50 years. So that's a really, I think it's a really important signal to buyers in instilling some of that confidence that we've talked about.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
I'd like for you to dig in a little bit more on the demographics, psychographics, and then your architectural choices made around those findings. And that's kind of deep, like that's insightful. It's nice to hear. I'm certain that other builders do the same thing, but you don't often hear that. I think some people may believe that builders just kind of build whatever they want rather than what they believe is in the best interest of the homeowner. So could you elaborate a little more?
I love this question. And to be honest with you, it's one of the most fun parts of what I get to do in this job is that, right? I love getting into product design and starting that process. And as I mentioned, it all starts with research from our end,
right?
And looking at what the needs of the community might be. There is an element, obviously, of what we need to do as a builder and as a company with, certain business expectations.
Of course, yeah.
But marrying that with the needs of the community and ultimately providing a home at the end of the day that people are going to love because they're going to be there for the next 10, 20, 30 years potentially. So when we go into a new community, we'll always look at what's around, what housing options are available currently. We'll look at needs, if there's specific requests from municipalities as to what needs to be delivered for the communities. And we'll then start to build our buyer profiles. And we do that, and we have a couple of different buyer profiles or multiple different buyer profiles in any given community. So I'll give you an example. Our Midhurst community, Midhurst Valley, just up here in Springwater, is a few thousand homes in our first servicing phase of the community, let's call it. And it's a collection of 25-foot semis, 36-foot detached, and 44-foot detached. So coming into the community, we recognized a need that, albeit the North has often provided beautifully large homes and yards, there's also a need to offer some more affordable and attainable housing options.
Yep.
And so we've got a few thousand homes. It's a collective group of builders between Geranium, Countrywide, Sundance, and Brookfield. And looking at our product design specifically and how we built our homes there, we build in a lot of optionality. And so we're looking at families, most likely, as the first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, young families was our predominant group of prospective buyers.
Yeah.
So looking at each one of those and saying, okay, what does this particular buyer profile look for in a new home? What do they look for in a community? And how do we now design to that to offer them that? So young families, we know it's about bedrooms and it's about amenities, outside amenities, having their backyard, having a parkette nearby with a structure, play structure. It's about creating connection with other neighbors so that their kids can meet. So how do we create opportunities for that to happen? Midhurst is a great example of that. In our first phase of the community, which collectively between the four builders was about 350 homes, we have a small parkette that's designed in that quadrant of the community that we built first. So it was built already the day our first homeowner moved into the community, which was fantastic.
Wow. Yeah.
And I go back and I think, I drove through there, I think it was a couple of days, maybe a week or two after the first homeowner started moving in. And I remember driving by the parkette and there were a couple of families using it already.
Cool.
Meanwhile, it's still a bit of a construction site, let's be honest, And I pulled over to the side of the road and I hope they didn't think I was
a weirdo,
just kind of staring at them.
Sure.
But I really just had a moment because as cliche as it sounds, that's really ultimately where I get so much rewarded of this job is seeing that at the end of the day, these homeowners move in and actually start using the homes and enjoying the community. Yeah. And so there were kids playing on the structure and it's like, that just indicated to me that we did the right thing. cost us a lot of money to do it up front, let's be honest.
Sure.
But it was the right thing to do. And since then, we've also already built our bigger community park that has a massive structure, gazebo, pickleball courts, and a full-size soccer pitch.
Amazing.
And that is already built. And to go through there today, and you drive through and got people playing pickleball and the community is really coming together, it's such an amazing thing to experience. And so we're looking at those types of things when we're designing our communities. That's ultimately the end goal. And that's what, as much as my team, they probably hate to hear me repeat myself over and over, but we got to think about that, like,
Yes.
focus on this. We got to focus on this. Like, at the end of the day, this is what we have to focus on. That plays a very big part of what we do at that project visioning stage. And then the home side, again, I spoke about optionality. It's providing options within the homes that people can decide to move forward with, depending on the makeup of their family and how their family operates, right? Whether that's a separate office, whether that's a media space, whether that's a finished basement, whether that's an additional bedroom. You know, we have optional plans that convert 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms at Midhurst specifically. In other communities, we have a beautiful one in Claremont, just south of Uxbridge, 1 acre lots, beautiful homes from about 3,000 to 5,000, 5,500 square feet. In those ones, we have ground floor guest suites.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? Which are in-law suites, essentially.
Yeah, multi-generational.
So we're offering options for the multi-gen relationship there. We have elevator options. So we do provide, as a builder, in our product design phase, a lot of options, which again takes us more time to design them.
Yeah.
But we really want to provide that optionality to prospective buyers to really find something that suits the needs for them today and also to grow into as well.
I mean, it sounds like you're exemplifying the shift, I think, from the builder developer community is we're not just building boxes that we hope someone's going to buy. We're actually trying to make sure we're building what people want and providing value for them, not necessarily just, you know, there's a connotation, I think, that still exists that developers are just out there doing what they want, making as much money as they want. But, you know, I think you're talking a lot about, well, there's a whole lot of a process that goes into this. And I agree. It sounds pretty silly to me to have the park done and ready for the first family, but that's a big deal. And I can imagine as more and more families move into that community, it's already there. You know, moving can be stressful, but that first night you've got your pizza ordered in, the movers have just finished in. If you've got a young family, okay, we can take a breath and we can take the kids out and go to that park. I think that's really special.
Yeah. I agree. And it doesn't happen in every community for a variety of different reasons. But it's something that if we can make happen, we will try our best to do so.
Yeah.
Are you making considerations like that inside the home as well? Design considerations? I mean, you've mentioned this different kind of optionality, but is it driven from the same starting point?
Definitely. Yeah. You know, looking at some of our plans, again, going back to our Midhurst community up here, some of our plans are standard 3 bedrooms with the option to convert to a 4th bedroom, 4-bedroom plan. Or we offer them with a 3-bedroom plus media space, and the media being more of an open area. It's not closed in, which is great for kids just to, you know, set up their PlayStation or Xbox or what have you, and kind of all congregate that's not in their rooms. That can be changed into a 4th bedroom, right? Offices as well. We've got a couple of different options where you can add an office. The finished basement options are great too, because they add another bedroom and another bathroom, and a recreation space. So again, it's looking at what families in this instance most likely might need. A young family that doesn't have kids may only do the 3 bedrooms to start with, right? But a young family that either has 2 kids or is the second child is on the horizon may need another bedroom, right? So how are we offering those options within one house style, as an example?
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a change in your career on Have you noticed a change during your career on what kinds of options people are looking for, and given the pervasiveness of technological change and some of those lines?
Mm-hmm. Uh, Definitely there have been shifts in the design of homes. If we speak prior to my career in this thing, the whole shift of closed off rooms to open concept was a massive one, right? Most of our homes do offer more open concept layouts, but we also recognize that within any given community, also depending on the demographic who's purchasing, different ethnicities, as an example, like to have a separate living room,
Right.
a dedicated living room, right? They don't love the open concept, or they do, but they still want to have a dedicated dining room or living room.
Yeah.
So in those instances, when we're looking at a portfolio of homes, we also try to blend some that are more open concept and some that still provide the opportunity for those more dedicated spaces.
Interesting.
As an example. Offices, let's be honest, that's key these days, even with a lot of people going back into the office post-COVID. That home office is still such a critical component for many. So that's often something that we're working into any plan where we have space to do so anyway.
Of course. Yeah.
As I mentioned, the multi-gen stuff, so ground floor living opportunities for parents or that, aging in place concept. We have a community out in Seagrave, which is just north of Port Perry in the Durham region. It's actually Kawartha. It's like the bottom end of Kawartha, top end of Durham. That is not a true adult lifestyle community, but it's catered to an empty nester, retiree type of thing. So there we're offering bungalows. So it's all about main floor living.
Yeah. Right on.
And then we have optional lofts where you can add the additional space. So if you do need a third or a fourth bedroom, you can add the loft upstairs, right? And then you've also got a finished basement you can do in the future. But that's all about that single level living, right? So in that instance, doing our demographic research there and knowing about what that age group, even myself, I live in a bungalow and I love it.
I live in a bungalow and I love
right?
it. Yeah.
Looking at that, how are we then designing those amenities for someone who wants that single level living too?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as we, we're, believe it or not, we're over halfway through 2026. How do you feel looking forward? I expect your answer to be optimistic. Everyone should always be optimistic, but how do you feel, as we close out 2026 and we look towards 2027, from Geranium's perspective, from your perspective, how is the next 12 months shaping up?
So first, let me say, it's crazy that we're halfway through 2026. I feel like I blinked and all of a sudden we're in we're approaching August right now. The last few years, myself and I can say the team at Geranium, it's been about cautious optimism.
Sure.
It's recognizing that there are signs and there are people still purchasing homes,
Of course.
right? There's still a need for housing. There's a great need for housing.
Yeah.
At some point, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know when, the economic circumstances are going to change and settle down. At some point, hopefully they will. Or people will have to make a decision and just come to terms with this as the reality. And we need to move on with life, which was a similar feeling and experience I think many had coming out of COVID. So it was sort of a newish normal, a bit different and what have you. For us, we do see signs of positivity. There's sparks right now, which is great. We're hopeful based on that. You have new programs coming from the government. We haven't talked about HST at this point, but the HST, the enhanced HST rebate, has been a very welcomed and needed tool. And we think The government's for stepping up on that front to help reduce the price of a home and improve that affordability. That, I believe, come the fall and through next year, albeit it is set to expire essentially at the end of March of next year. We're hopeful that it does get extended, that will continue to motivate people. I don't think we've seen the true impact of it yet.
Yeah.
It's still quite preliminary. So I'm hopeful that the fall starts to settle in, and all of us builders also have ironed out how we're processing it.
Yes,
There's been a lot of confusion about the program, how it's being processed, and that's caused a lot of confusion in the public realm to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we as an industry have a lot of cleanup to do.
Yep.
And we'll have to do it quickly. So I'm hopeful about that. A lot of conversation on development charge relief right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully that providing some support on the attainability front too. I don't like the fact that it's relief versus
Sure.
a full structure change to how DCs are done. But hopefully municipalities opt in. Right. And homeowners can see the benefit of that second tool from the government too. So with those two things, I do look favorably towards 2027. It's a slow recovery in my mind.
Right.
Nothing too robust.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting all of a sudden the taps open and the floodgates and everything starts coming back. There's a lot of confidence that needs to be rebuilt.
Right.
In the meantime. And as we've talked about, it's also dependent on what happens more globally too, and that affecting the psyche of home buyers, right?
Well, and I think back to the program that you had mentioned where you can lock in your rate. So that's one variable. You're helping prospective home buyers be like, okay, well, at least if interest rates change, I know that by the time I move into my new house, that factor has kind of been mitigated, which is would give some buyers some serious peace of mind.
Definitely. And historically, rates are still relatively low. Right. And that's something I think people have to keep in mind too, is that yes, there's been an adjustment and yes, they did increase, but they're still historically low. So it's resetting some expectations on that side too, I think.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Any more questions?
I'm done. I very much have appreciated your time today, Stephanie. I think we've learned a lot. I think hopefully the viewers at home have learned a little bit as well. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend time with us here.
Oh, thank you very much, and anytime.
Thank you, Stephanie. Dave, I think we nailed it.
I think we nailed it. If you would like to join the podcast as a guest or to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us at podcast@schba.ca. Thanks so much. Thanks again, Stephanie. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.